Welcome to Jesse Watters Primetime tonight.
Preserving these lands is good not only for Arizona, but for the planet. Good for the economy.
The Grand Canyon, uranium mines, African coups, and Russia.
And he leans over me and he's like this close to my face and he's like, "What do you want?"
Veterans, disrespected by President Biden.
Thank you very much. Now we just get...
Kamala's electric buses go bankrupt. Where's the money? Plus, mushrooms.
How many shrooms have you dropped? A lot.
Joe Biden, after a 10-day vacation at the beach, returned to Washington and participated in a ceremony with the Houston Astros. He woke up this morning and flew to Arizona, and Primetime expected him to visit the border and see the crisis firsthand. Cartel foot soldiers with rifles and tactical gear have just been caught operating on American soil at our border. The influx is so steady that Biden's Border Patrol are keeping migrant families in cages under the hot desert sun. His border app has been hacked by cartels who turned it into an international human trafficking app. So we couldn't believe when we discovered that Joe Biden was traveling to Arizona to visit the Grand Canyon.
The Grand Canyon, one of the Earth's 9 wonders, wonders of the world. Literally. Think of that. You know, it's amazing. An enduring symbol of America to the entire world. America's natural wonders are central to our heritage and our identity as a nation. Conserving them not only protects the livelihoods of the people who depend on them, it preserves key pieces of our history.
I always thought there were 7 wonders of the world, but I don't know. Joe Biden visited the Grand Canyon today to designate it a national monument. This would be the 130th national monument, but as always is the case with Joe Biden, you have to follow the money. When you designate something as a national monument, you automatically stop all industrial and commercial activity in the area. Meaning, what Joe Biden's really doing is blocking mining activity on 1 million acres bordering the Grand Canyon. What kind of mining? Uranium mining. Now, why would Joe Biden block uranium mining? Uranium's used for nuclear power plants, nuclear-powered subs, electricity, no emissions. It's also used for radiation treatments to cure cancer. Curing cancer and reducing emissions are 2 of Joe Biden's biggest initiatives. So, does the United States have enough uranium stockpiled to just ban uranium mining from 1 million acres? The answer is no. The United States imports 95% of our uranium. A major energy sector and a national security sector is almost entirely dependent on other countries. So who are these other countries that we depend on uranium imports? The United States buys most of our uranium from Russia and Kazakhstan, also Canada and Africa. And Joe Biden is single-handedly losing Africa. The Biden administration has watched African allies be toppled by coup after coup after coup and fall into Russia's orbit. Niger, one of the biggest uranium producers in the world, huge untapped reserves, a former French colony and an American ally, just fell to a military coup. A month after our Secretary of State visited, brought suitcases full of cash and said everything's fine. And now Russia owns Niger's uranium. Russia already supplies 14% of our uranium. We pay Russia $1 billion a year for it. And their satellites, Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan, control our uranium supply chain. So now you add Niger to the mix, a new Russian satellite. Russia controls over 60% of the world's uranium supply. Now Joe Biden is totally funding Russia's uranium racket. America already sends $1 billion a year to a Russian company called Rosatom. It's the crown jewel of Putin's industrial base. Rosatom dominates the entire European nuclear market. So we send Putin's uranium company $1 billion a year, which Putin plows into his war machine in Ukraine. Rosatom's actually been gobbling up Ukrainian nuke plants one at a time in the east. Remember last year when Russia was raining lead on a Ukrainian nuke plant and the Europeans were terrified it was going to turn into a Chernobyl redux? Well, Rosatom also took over the Canadian uranium company, Uranium One. Remember, if that sounds familiar, that's the company that donated millions to the Clinton Foundation when Hillary was Obama's Secretary of State. See, the Obama-Biden administration greased the application for Putin's Rosatom takeover of our allies' uranium mines, right around the time where Bill Clinton was paid $500,000 from a Russian bank for a Moscow speech promoting the company. So you have to ask why Joe Biden, who says he's anti-Russia, is funding Russia's dangerous uranium monopoly that puts America's national security and energy independence at risk. Why is our Secretary of State, Anthony Blinken, giving Rosatom execs visas to come speak in D.C.? Why is the only major Russian company that Biden left off the sanctions list Rosatom? Russia is not only using the $1 billion to fund the Ukraine war, they're modernizing their own nuke arsenal and pointing more lethal weapons at us. Russia's Rosatom's building nuke reactors in Iran and helping China ramp up its nuke program. So instead of mining uranium here at home, remember, Made in America Joe, union jobs Joe, no emissions Joe, why wouldn't he starve this dirty Russian company of cash? It's like Keystone all over again. His entire energy policy favors Russia and China. Why is that? Well, does it have anything to do with the $3.5 million the Russians paid the Bidens? Or the Porsche Panamera that the Kazakhstanis gifted Hunter? Does it have anything to do with the 3.5-carat diamond that the Chinese slipped the first son? There's something very mysterious going on in the international uranium market that involves the Bidens and the Russians.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.